everyone, welcome back to GK Today. I'm Nuzhat Sana and in this video I'll discuss today's top current and static general studies questions for UPSC Prelims Examination 2022 onwards. And these questions are framed keeping in view both the factual as well as analytical aspects of UPSC Prelims exam. Also, I would like to inform you that these questions are part of GK Today's UPSC Prelims test series, which is available in GK Today Android app. And the test series for 2022 Prelims examination comprises total of 7500 questions, divided 2500 questions on current general studies and 5000 questions on static general studies. And the series has started from May 2021 and it will end with UPSC Prelims Examinations 2022. So if you wish to access all questions of GK Today UPSC Prelims test series, you may subscribe the test series in the app. So now without wasting any further time, let's get started.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our brand new series of UPSC Prelims Model Questions Practice, and today it is your fourth lecture. So those who are new to this channel, let me inform you briefly that this particular series is our latest initiative in which every day we'll be discussing top 5 questions that are relevant for your upcoming UPSC Prelims examinations. So we will not just see which of the questions are right and which are wrong. Rather, we will analyze each of the statement in a detailed manner to make our concepts crystal clear. Okay. So now let's start. Question number 1. Which of the following is our correct statements about NISAR mission of ISRO? First of all, what does NISAR stands for? It is NASA ISRO Synthetic Aperture Radar. So first statement says it is a joint Earth observation mission of NASA and ISRO. So as the acronym suggests that this is a program of NASA and ISRO. So yes, it is a joint Earth observation mission of both the organizations and it is to be launched in the year 2022. So basically it will span 3 years and seeks to scan the Earth's land and ice in every 12 days. Okay. Also it will use SAR, or you can say synthetic aperture radar technique, to produce high resolution images, and it is to be the first radar imaging satellite that uses dual frequencies. So this one is also correct. Here answer is option number C, that is both 1 and 2 are correct. So basically this mission will help in measuring the processes like ice sheet collapse. Then there are some sort of ecosystem disturbances. Then various natural disasters like volcanic eruptions, tsunamis and earthquakes. Okay, so with total cost of nearly 1.5 billion USD, NISAR is likely to be the world's most expensive Earth imaging satellite. And this will be launched from India aboard a GSLV Mk2. Okay. So these are some of the facts regarding NISAR mission. Question number 2. The Sustainable Development Goals India Index by Niti Aayog. So there are 2 statements given regarding Sustainable Development Goals and you have to identify which one of these are correct. Okay. First is tracks the progress of all states and union territories on achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So yes, this is a kind of tool to track the progress of states and union territories on achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and it is released by Niti Aayog. Then second statement says it is based on 17 national indicators corresponding to 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Actually, this index tracks the progress of the states and union territories across 17 Sustainable Development Goals based on 115 national indicators and 70 targets. So here 17 national indicators is wrong. So this one is wrong. Okay. Actually the states and the union territories are scored on a scale of 0 to 100. And higher the states score means closer it is to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Fine. So based on the index score, the states and union territories are classified as aspirants, performers, front runners and achievers. And the core functions of Niti Aayog on this index are progress monitoring, then sustainable development goal localization, private sector engagement, SDG costing and financing, and last is multidimensional poverty measurement and its reduction. Okay. Now why we are talking about this particular index here? Because recently the third edition of Sustainable Development India Index was released by Niti Aayog in the month of June 2021. So do remember that Kerala retained its position at the top with total score of 75, and it was further followed by Tamil Nadu and Himachal Pradesh. Both have the score of 72. Also the states Bihar, Jharkhand and Assam were the worst performing states. Okay. Now next question, which of the following are correct statements about the air independent propulsion used in operation of submarines? So basically you have to tell what is the use of air independent propulsion system in the submarines. Actually this AIP is a marine propulsion technology that enables diesel electric engine propelled submarines to operate with less frequent need for surfacing for oxygen. Okay, so first statement says it reduces the frequent need of surfacing for oxygen, thus enabling them to remain underwater for longer time. Actually the AIP technology enables the non-nuclear submarines to operate underwater for up to 2 weeks, while the conventional diesel electric submarines have to surface once every 48 hours for recharging. So obviously option number 1 is correct. And second statement says in DRDO's phosphoric acid fuel cell based AIP technology, there is no need to store hydrogen on board the submarines. So yes, this is also correct. Here right answer is both 1 and 2. Now why this technology is in news? Because recently DRDO has conducted the final development test of AIP system, which is crucial for diesel electric submarines. Actually the submarines are of two types. First is conventional and second is nuclear. So conventional submarines use diesel electric engines, while the nuclear submarines employ the nuclear reactors for power generation. And hence we aim to fit the technology on India's Scorpene class submarine INS Kalvari around 2023. Okay. Now next question, which of the following diseases are caused by protozoa? So basically you have to identify which of the following are protozoan disease. First is malaria. It is a mosquito-borne disease caused by protozoan parasite called as Plasmodium. And the parasite is transmitted through the bite of female Anopheles mosquito. So this is correct. Second is dengue. The dengue fever is actually caused by dengue virus. So this is not a protozoan disease. It is also a mosquito-borne disease, but it is transmitted by the female Aedes mosquito. Next is Kala Azar. So this is a neglected tropical disease caused by Leishmania, which is a protozoan parasite, and it is transmitted through sand flies. So this one is also correct. And fourth is chikungunya. This is also a mosquito-borne viral disease, and it is caused by chikungunya virus and transmitted by further Aedes mosquito. So this one is not a protozoan disease. Here correct answer is only 1 and 3. Now let's talk about some of the diseases which are caused by viruses. So examples are chickenpox, smallpox, AIDS, common cold, measles, mumps, rabies, and etc. Then talking about some of the diseases caused by bacteria. So examples are cholera, whooping cough, leprosy, pneumonia, typhoid, TB, plague, tetanus, etc. Okay. Now coming to last question. The people of which of the following tribes in India live in Himalayan region? So you have to identify which among the following tribes live in Himalayan region. First is Lodha tribe. It is actually particularly vulnerable tribal group, means PVTG, and they are mainly settled in West Bengal and Odisha. And they belong to the Munda ethnic group. So this one is not true. Second is Siddhi, and these people are ethnic group who descended from the Bantu people of Southeast Africa, and most of them live in the states of Karnataka and Gujarat. So this is also not true. Third is Galos. Yes, they are Himalayan tribe living in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, and they are the descendants of Abotani, the progenitor of the Tani tribes. Okay, so this is correct. And fourth is Dardic. These are actually the Dard Aryans, which is a tribal group in Ladakh, Pakistan and Afghanistan region. And their villages are together called as Aryan Valley. So this one is right, and here correct answer becomes only 3 and 4. Okay. Now let's do some revision. In the first lecture we have talked about Bhagoria festival. In which states it was celebrated? So it is a tribal festival celebrated in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. And the tribes like Bhils, Patelias and Bhilalas participate in this event. Then earlier we have talked about the Bondo people, and these are also a PVTG, means particularly vulnerable tribal group in the Malkangiri district in Odisha. And we have also talked about the Kutia Konds. These are also PVTG in Kalahandi district in the state of Odisha. Basically they worship nature and practice a type of slash and burn agriculture named as Dongar Chas. Okay. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. If you have any suggestion, reviews and feedback regarding these lectures, you can tell us in the comment section. Definitely we'll try to implement that. So we will meet again with 5 more new and interesting questions. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nuzhat Sana signing off.